Put a finger down if you ever started writing an email, went to go check a folder for a file, ended up over on the company chat for something, and somehow doom scrolled on social media for 30 minutes. This one's probably for me as much as it is for you. Before I get going, we talk an awful lot about how the brain works and how to make sure your brain is working with you if you've got ADHD, and especially if you are an entrepreneur. If that sounds interesting, love a like and follow. So this is a concept called context switching. And whether you are ADHD or just like a high performer in general, context switching is not just like killing our brains. It is killing our momentum. It is killing our productivity. Like, it is a major problem for more of us than realize it, because this idea of multitasking has been hyped up as such an amazing thing for so long. The reality is our brains don't multitask, they task switch. And when we have to do context switching, we eat a lot of brain energy, and that is why sometimes we get to the end of the day having accomplished nothing and feeling absolutely drained. For ADHD brains, who often have weaker, breaks on our attention span than like a neurotypical brain does, re-engaging can be even harder. So as your little bit of brain background here, keep in mind that the brain's primary source of nutrients is glucose. And when the brain is burning through a lot of glucose trying to pull itself from context to context to context, this is why, for example, when I talk about like marketing, I tell people to like do your planning and then do your execution in 2 separate phases. Those are 2 separate contexts. It's really hard for your brain to swap back and forth between the 2. And this is where a lot of people end up like making no traction, is because they are context switching and burning through all of the glucose they have available for their brain. All right, so now we know context switching equals bad. What do we actually do about it? First things first, use something called task batching. So this is something that is going to take your brain a little bit of time to like get familiar with, and like it's a muscle you'll build. The more you do this, the more you think about this, the more you will start to see, oh, these tasks are similar and using similar pieces of the brain. Let's do them all at the same time, right? But especially if you feel the need for a little bit of novelty and you do want to like try a few tasks at once, like working on 3 things inside of an hour, then that's great. Like, use this concept of say, I'm gonna send emails and reply to Slack messages at the same time, because these are using the same, like it's the same context. And so your brain doesn't have to use as much energy to switch between the 2. This might look like batching all of your meetings for the day as much as humanly possible into one chunk of the day. Now I know that one can get really sticky. So here's my little script for you there, is when someone is asking to meet outside of your group, you can always let them know, like if it's important and you don't have as much control over the calendar there, you might say, hey, if we could, I would love to meet in this time frame instead, just because I'm trying to batch all of my meetings for the day so that I can be the best version of me for you in our meeting. Are you available in this time frame instead? So you can always counter with that and explain that, hey, this is for you as much as it is for me. This could also be batching all of your creative work or all of your project planning. Maybe you need to plan out like steps for 3 or 4 projects. So do all of that at the same time. Like, you're no longer having to context switch and move into different brain spaces throughout the day, or at least throughout that short period of time. Next tip is to use a concept called brain dumping. So especially for individuals with ADHD, it can be really hard because sometimes I'm in the middle of a task and I do have to go over to a folder to like search for something to attach to that email. And it can be really easy to get distracted and be like, oh my gosh, that's right, I'd pulled up this folder in order to do this thing. Instead of like getting distracted and spiraling down this, let's go find this thing real quick that's going to take me over to Slack, that's going to take me over here, I have a pad of paper next to me at all times, and I will just jot down the thing that needed to be done so that it's super simple and super easy. Brain dumping is something we can also do at the beginning of the day, where you just sit down and say, okay, what are all the things that like are on my plate today? And then like maybe I can like highlight in green all of the things that are similar and that I want to batch, and then highlight in yellow all the things that are similar and I want to batch, etc., etc. Next tip is to use a transition ritual. So when you go from batch to batch of different tasks, use something to help your brain understand that it's time to move from project planning mode into creative mode, or it's time to move from like project mode into like email mode. And this is something that, again, is a muscle you'll have to build. But as you start to say, hey, I'm going to listen to this type of music when I'm doing creative work, and this type of music when I'm doing emails, and this type of music, or I'm going to have these different scents that I have in the room. Like, when you start to tie some sort of sensory engagement technique to those different brain spaces, it becomes a lot easier for your brain to stay in that space, especially if you have the brain dump pad of paper next to you and you can jot down stuff that falls outside of your current brain context. Last but not least is close open loops. So when we have to stop a task and maybe it isn't complete, it tends to eat away at our brain as like, hey, this task is pending, this task is pending, this task is pending. And so one of the best things that you can do is, one, set a clear stopping point. Say, hey, when I get to this point, it is a good stopping point for this project. That tells your brain, hey, this is like, I stopped. I completed as much of this task as I could today, so I can like free my brain space up just a little bit here. This can also look like going back and like having 5 open tabs that you then knock out all at once, even though like there's slightly different things, but it allows you to like literally close tabs in your brain so your brain is not like sucking energy into like remembering that you have to finish this task over here. Biggest takeaway from this video, you probably don't need more motivation, you probably need fewer interruptions. And if you're ADHD, you really need this one. So start by picking one of these to start implementing and just work on that. If you want to, bookmark this video so you can come back to it, watch it in a few weeks, and then try it again. My personal tip there would actually be to take the link to this video, put it on your calendar for a few weeks out, and put a note to choose new implementation technique, and then pick another one to implement in a couple of weeks. But pick one thing that you can focus on implementing for the next couple of weeks. Maybe it's the brain dumping, maybe it is the task batching, whatever it is, pick one thing, because if you try and do all of them, you'll probably do none of them. But if you pick one thing, you can probably actually get some pretty decent traction. And I would love to know, what are some of your biggest struggles with focus? If you drop into the comments down below, maybe I can build some videos that will help you out.